If you look at the question, it's asking you to find the ventricular wall that is not supplied by the circumflex artery. This is a type of question that you can solve easily as long as you are familiar with the anatomical structures. The wall segment that is unrelated to this would be segment C. In the case of the basal inferior wall, it is supplied by the RCA, so make sure to distinguish and remember this information. Let's look at the next question. This time, the question is asking about the wall segment that is not related to the right coronary artery. The answer is segment D. In the case of the mid-anterior interventricular septum, it receives its blood supply from the left anterior descending artery, so segment D is not related. Options A through C are related to the RCA, so you can use this question to organize and review this part as well. The topics related to wall segments are the most fundamental, so if you are preparing for the exam, you should definitely review and organize this material. Let's look at the next question. This question asks about the normal pressures of the ventricles or atria. It is asking about something that is not related to this. First, let's watch the related video. The pressures of the ventricles and blood vessels are summarized here. If you just pay close attention to the information summarized in the diagram, you'll be able to solve related questions without much difficulty. An important point is that these values can vary slightly depending on the textbook. So, it's a bit difficult to clearly define which value is right or wrong. Therefore, when these are given as questions, the range tends to be a bit broader. For example, here it is expressed as 25, but on exams, it might be given as a range from 10 to 30. Since the spectrum is set broadly like this, instead of memorizing a specific value, it's better to remember the related range and organize the content accordingly. Based on this information, if we look at the question again, it's asking about an unrelated option. You should select option D as the correct answer. The systolic value for the aorta corresponds to this part. As for the diastolic value, you can consider it to be around 80. If you just organize the diagram I showed earlier, you can easily solve this type of question. Let's look at the next question. This is related to cage analysis. This question asks you to select the option related to the expression of systolic contraction here. Even among heart-related questions, problems about this cage can also appear on the test. So, you just need to make sure you understand the basic concepts well. In this cage, the part that represents systole corresponds to option D. The period from the start of the QRS complex to the end of the T wave is referred to as the systolic phase. Let's watch a related video. As you can see in the diagram, ventricular diastole and systole are distinguished from each other. The period from the beginning of the QRS complex to the end of the T wave is referred to as systole. The remaining parts are classified as diastole. You should review both the basic concepts and the items distinguished in this diagram together. If you organize just the items shown in this diagram well, you should be able to solve related questions without much difficulty. Now let's look at question number 20. The question is asking which of the following is not related to ventricular diastole. The correct answer is choice D. Ventricular depolarization, for example, is related to systole. The other options, such as the isovolumetric relaxation phase, early rapid filling, and atrial contraction, are all related to diastole, so you can organize your understanding of these through this question. With that, we've solved up to question 20. Next time, we'll continue with the remaining questions. See you in the next session. Thank you.